Okay, what's up, Solarpreneurs? We have a very special guest on the podcast today, and he's special because this is actually his second time coming on the podcast, which not too many people can say. So welcome for the second time, Mr. Christian Moroni. Thanks for coming on the podcast with us again, my man.
Thank you, brother. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I know. And I'm stoked because we were just talking before this. You are, looks like you're our number 3 most downloaded episode. So want to say congratulations for that and appreciate you sharing the podcast and, you know, all your followers that have listened to it. I mean, you just had someone take 12 pages of notes on your last podcast?
It's funny. It was last night. I got this guy. It was literally I would say probably 11:40 p.m. I got a message on the phone saying, hey, I have a few notes. And he started sharing. It was 11 or 12 pages of notes from the first episode.
Jeez.
Yeah. I was mind blown. I didn't see that coming. He literally took notes. I would say pretty much transcript word by word.
Jeez. Well, that's dedication. Well, yeah, so for those that are listening, if you have not heard his first podcast, you definitely want to go listen to it because it has straight fire in it. I just re-listened to it this morning while I was on a little jog, and yeah, it was incredible. All the tips he shares and just freaking nuggets. So go listen to that. But today we're gonna switch it up, get in some new stuff, and first off, we just want to hear kind of what's up. Maybe for those that haven't been following you as much. It's been about a year since we did the last podcast, Christian. So what's new, my man? What's any changes in the past year? Let's give us the highlights.
Yeah, a lot has changed. I'm so grateful. Today, I want to do a little different, Taylor. If you allow me, I want to go super, super raw, super vulnerable and just kind of share a little bit. So the very first one, I kind of share my story, where I came from, how I started into door-to-door, how I learned how to do the door-to-door game. I share exactly the episode name is how to be consistent without working more hours, right? Just how to get stuff done without having to knock 12 hours a day because it's just too much.
Right.
Today, I feel like sharing what has changed in the way I see the industry. On the second podcast that I record on a different platform, I share how I see the solar industry now, the different types of business model. What's the main thing of being a setter? What's the main thing of being a closer? When people should transition from setting to closing? When people should go, I want to be a dealer. I want to be my own boss. I want to be a lone wolf. I want to open up my own company, that type of stuff. Today, I want to share the hard stuff, the hardships, the hard shit that people sometimes don't want to talk about, how to do this job mentally. How I do want to touch on recruiting a little bit, talking about the mental game, switching companies, what to look for in a company, that type of stuff.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think we're on similar wavelengths because a lot of that stuff is what I wanted to ask you about too. So can't wait to dive into it. But I mean, you've been grinding still, and it's been crazy to see you just keep, improving. I mean, you hit, what was it, 30 deals in 30 days you did? A couple months back.
Yeah. I started with 20 and 20, and I mean, when I first recorded your podcast, I was only self-genning. I didn't have a team. It was just myself in the doors, and I was closing 10, 12, and then 14, 15. It's funny, 15, and that was kind of my, my bottleneck. And then I was just okay, 16, and then 17, and then I broke 20. Once I broke 20, it's just 20, 22, 24, and then 30, and it just keeps going.
Yeah. I know, it's incredible because in the last podcast, we were just, it's funny. We were celebrating the 15 and all that. And then now just seeing this past year, you're just blowing those numbers out of the water. It's
right.
It just keeps getting better and better.
Hey, so I would do 60, but I gotta get some stuff together in the process. I gotta figure out the process and crack the code to do 60. But I believe I can do it.
Yeah, that's possible.
I'm just not there yet,
Yeah. No, it's possible for sure. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think we'll come back in a year and you'll probably hit 60. So
Yeah, right.
we'll have to, like,
But I mean, the right way, not undersizing, with
right.
ethics and all that, like selling the right way. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting families in a better position.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the idea.
Yeah. And then the other thing, like, yeah, it's just so crazy. The past year, I remember too, we were talking like how you had, I don't know, I think it was like 400 followers on Instagram or something, and just kind of doing your thing. And now, like, I think it's safe to say you're definitely one of like the top people that guys respect and follow in solar. I mean, I remember I had like double your followers for a while. Now you got double my followers. So like, man, everyone knows Christian now.
Yeah.
So people, follow you. I think everyone thinks of you as kind of like one of the authorities for sure in solar, which is really cool to see that. And, everyone knows the name Christian now in solar. But yeah, so besides that, I mean, I know you've switched, you're at a different company now from the last podcast we did. So yeah, do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about that journey? We can get into a little bit of that, and maybe just like, because I know there's reps where maybe they're not in the best situation, but they're afraid to switch companies, or they don't know when the right time to maybe look for a better opportunity. So do you want to just maybe share how your experience was with that, and maybe some advice for guys looking to possibly switch or get into better opportunities?
Yeah. Well, let's do it. I'm gonna recruit everybody. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. I really want to share exactly how it went for me, because I did work for 5 different companies, and working for like the big companies and for the small companies, you can actually get to see the difference on the business model and how they do stuff. So I switched from a small company back in San Diego to a bigger company because of the brand and all of that stuff. And I realized that sometimes I was looking for a better pay and the better red line, and sometimes that's not going to translate, because even though I was working for a bigger company, I was not surrounded by people that are high achievers. And so I get messages on the daily of people asking like, dude, I've been doing 6, 8 a month, or 4 a month, or 10 a month. Like, how do I get to the next level? And then I always ask, what is next level for you? What does the next level look like? And most of the people, they say, well, for me, it's X. So let's say the guy's selling 6, 7, 8 deals, and next levels break 2 digits, 12, 14, 15 a month. And my number one question is, okay, if you do want to do 15 now, I want to ask you, how many people in your office are doing 15 every month? And I would say 10 out of 10, they say 0.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. So it's pretty tough, Taylor. It just, and that's the reality. A lot of times I see people, like last podcast was about consistency, and that's my favorite word. Yeah. Because everybody can have a good day. Like some people, they're bragging about like, yeah, I had a good day. Like everybody can have a good check, but it's not about that one check, because money, like I see so many people in industry, they just blow money like that. Yeah. So that big check doesn't mean anything if you're just chilling and going, taking vacations for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. Like, and then you like, if you sold 4 solar deals on a day, when the clock hits midnight, you're at 0 again. True.
Yeah. Good point. Well, yeah. And it's interesting because I think last time we did the podcast, you were, I think, the number 1 rep at that company, right?
Yep.
And then now your current company, Pure, you're what? Like, I think there's at least a couple guys beating you, right?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm trying, but if you do 30, it's not enough. Yeah. If you do 40, it might not be enough. So it's tough. I mean, yes. But Taylor, I mean, I already passed that point of just being number 1. It's more about like being better than I was the day before. Yeah. And that's the same mentality that I shared last time. Like, It's always good. Yeah, I want to be number one. It's awesome to be number one, but I see, like, I think about the impact.
Right.
The impact comes first. Like, it's not to be number one for the bragging rights.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, if you did 5, okay, do 6, and then do 7, and then do 8. Like as long as you're getting better, and that's why I want to talk about the struggle.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, it doesn't make sense for us talking about 40 deals a month when there's people selling 2 or 3. Like, these people, they need help.
Yeah.
And sometimes help is just that they don't know what to do, or the current structure is not providing an environment. Like on my Instagram, there's a video where I say, if a flower doesn't bloom, do we blame the flower? Hey, stupid flower, you should be growing.
Yeah, good point.
It's all about the environment. With the right food and nutrition, we know that that flower will bloom.
Right. No, that's a good point. So yeah, I mean, you've been in like both sides of the coin. Like, you've been the top rep at your companies, but now there's people better than you. So I don't know, for guys that like hit you up and ask about that, what's been like, is there one that's better in your experience? Do you think it's better to be like a big fish in a small pond, or be with, like, you know, bigger companies with higher producing reps? What do you tell people typically when they ask that? Because I know there's pros and cons to both, and maybe not necessarily a right answer, but what would you say to that question?
I agree. And I don't want to be biased. I don't want to like lean people towards what I want people to believe.
Yeah.
I just want to share what I see. Like, when I was doing pest control, I did for a small company, and I was number one. So like, for so long in my life, like for 7 years, I ran my own business in Brazil, and it was my own company, and I had to be the top performer because I had so many employees, and I had to be an example. So like, I was just sick of being number one, because it's just human nature. We get a car, and now we get a Tesla, and now, Tesla already sucks. If you ask me, yeah, I'm grateful for the Tesla, but now I see all the like, Tesla's not even that great. Okay, what's next? And like, it's just natural. Like, and then the guy with the Lamborghini was like, but I don't have a jet. and then the guy with the jet is like, I don't have a yacht.
Yeah.
So like, there's always the next level. That's why it is important to just, think of now, like, where am I going now? So I was kind of sick of being like the big fish in a small pond, because I just realized, when you think of pest control, the best reps, again, I'm not making any merchandise because I never worked for Grit, but like all of the high producers were there, and the highest average per rep came from there. And I just am a firm believer that proximity is power.
Yeah.
It's tough for the guy that message me on Instagram selling 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 a month, saying, dude, I want to get to 20 deals, when no one in his environment is doing that on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
Who's going to teach him how to get there?
I know. Well, it's funny because I actually have a guy coming down. I mean, I can't say his name because he's still with his other company, but he's coming down from LA to sell with us. And his company in LA, they're doing like the top guy. It's kind of that same situation. The top guy is doing maybe 10 a month or something. So he's coming down here with us just to kind of work and be surrounded in that environment. And then he's kind of doing half and half, going back to his other company to still get that. So I'm trying to just be like, all right, dude, just come join us if you want to do that. But he's like, no, I want to take back and like grow a team.
Yeah. I don't know who the guy is, but if he listens to this, do it, Taylor. If I were in a position of building this thing in Texas, I would love to work with you. I have a mad respect for you. It's just that I'm in Texas. That's my market. But if that wasn't the situation, I'll yeah.
Well, I'm sure we'll cross paths someday. I mean, I might end up in Texas. Who knows?
Please,
at least do a blitz there. Yeah.
So. I'm praying for this day.
Yeah. But yeah, and the other thing I wanted to ask you, Christian, is so you've now left at least, several companies, and I don't know about you, but I have left a couple companies myself. And for me, that was one of the hardest, I would say, points in my solar career. I don't know what your experience was like, but for me, I was super close to the owners of my first solar company. And I just wasn't, I felt like that I hit a cap. I wasn't growing anymore, and just some other issues like that. So I finally stepped away, but it was super tough because they were all my friends. They were my homies. They didn't want me to leave, and they were like kind of guilt tripping me, stuff like that. So it was like one of the hardest things I've ever done, having to like tell these guys that I'm not going to be back. And I had worked with them for 4 years, and they're like some of my best friends.
Yeah.
So for you, I don't know, do you have any like advice for guys that are maybe trying to leave, step into a better situation? Like, is there a right way to leave a company in? Because I know some people have experiences where maybe they're not getting paid out too, which is terrible. But how did it go in your experience? And do you have any advice with that?
Yes, that is tough. So it is super hard. And the reason why I say this is because you think of solid friendships, people that you have a lot of respect, people that are grateful for, and they just turn their back on you.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, whoever is the rep, whoever is listening to this and switch companies, you're going to see your best friends just turn your back on you.
Right.
And then you're going to see people just like, wow, like I thought we had something, and then you're gonna think that, oh, am I just a paycheck? Like, am I just a number? Is it just an override thing? Yeah. I thought that like the relationship was over money, So it will be tough. You will lose friendships, and that's exactly what happened to me every single time. And it's funny, and like even seeing on social media, like spicy posts about that type of stuff,
yeah.
who should be in your life and who shouldn't. And in my opinion and perception, is just a little selfish, because if they were in my situation, they would do the same.
Right.
No one is going to switch companies on purpose with intention of hurting someone or with intention of doing wrong.
Right.
The real reason for me looking into a different path is just that I wanted to do what was best for my family and for my future. And I want to think of that guy that is the boss or the owner of the company. He did work for a company previously.
Exactly.
And he had to make the same decision.
Yeah.
So what I don't understand is just when I look back and I rewind the tape, like if my life was a movie, all of my leaders that got sour because I left, they all had 2 or 3 or 4 companies themselves.
Yeah, I know.
They all have done the same thing. And now that's why I don't get it. Like, I left companies, and sometimes I did bring people, sometimes I did not bring people, which can cause issues. Sometimes if you do bring people, they don't pay you, which is something that did happen to me. Sometimes they still pay you, sometimes they don't. I don't want to get into details. Everybody has my contact. I can talk to each single one of you guys on a personal basis and share the story. But It's tough. Yes, you might lose money. You probably will. Some people will promise things. One thing that I always say now, everything that you can just put in writing.
Right.
Because people can say, in the name Taylor, I've seen people saying crazy things in the name of recruiting. That's why, like, I don't like using the word hate. Like I'm from Brazil. In Portuguese, hate is such a strong word.
Right.
It's funny. It's different. People just like, I hate Mondays. I hate this. I hate pickles. I hate this. Like, It's like the meaning of the word hate has a little different connotation when you translate from Portuguese. Huh. So I'm still super cautious. I try to never use the word hate because for me that has like such a strong meaning. Huh. And that's why, but I don't like talking about recruiting because I've seen people just promising so much stuff.
Yeah.
And like, we just have to be careful, like even the social media space is it's tough. Like every day you see who's out there, who's not. So just pay attention. Just like time will tell. And that's my number one advice. Like, think of yourself first. Like, your company will do fine without you.
Right.
Actually, they might be bragging and telling a different story about how they got rid of you or something, or they might just like, I don't know. Next thing you know, they have someone. Yeah, like, you're not that irreplaceable.
Yeah. I know.
You know, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
None of us, Taylor.
I know. Even a guy like both of us, we're all replaceable. So
Yeah, yeah,
gotta remember that. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I don't know, for company owners, yeah, it's a good point though. It's like if you have guys that leave for better opportunities, I don't think there needs to be that strong word hate, like Christian is talking about. Like, you don't need to hate someone if they leave because like in my case, since I'm so hated now by this company I left, I know I'm never gonna go back there. But it's like, if for an owner, if you can like actually maintain contact, who knows, there might be a time where they come back and like want to get in that opportunity again. But if you like shun them and don't pay them, then how likely are they to come back? Probably not very likely, right? And so I think there's something to be said about just, if someone leaves, then yeah, I mean, you obviously you're not you're gonna try to get them to stay, but you don't have to like take a personal and attack them, like is the experience I went through, unfortunately. So
it's their loss. It's their loss, Taylor. If they lost you, it's their loss, And then again, it's time to move on. I don't get it. Like, I see this. I'll say most of your audience, these people are informed. Like, they're on social media, they know what's going on. Yeah. And I don't get why they have to be picking fights. Like, I really don't get it, why there's so much beef and hate between the solar industry, and just like companies are a vehicle, and you in the driver's seat, you have to drive the best vehicle that will suit your needs, that will match what you're looking for. Right. Companies are a vehicle, and that's how we all should see it, and not like, yeah, we're the best, you guys suck, we do this, you guys don't do that. Like, that's just not how I see it. I feel like we should be more unified.
Yeah. But yeah, that's another good question. Like you mentioned, kind of knowing if you're going to get paid, but for those that are maybe looking to step into new opportunities, maybe that's a good question that you could initially ask a company, like, hey, I want to work with you guys, but if I ever did need to leave for whatever reason, then am I still going to get paid my commissions? And is that going to be in writing? That's something that I would have asked when I first started working in solar, because I hear from so many reps now, they're like, oh, I left, I didn't get paid thousands of dollars. And it's sad. And maybe that's not going to work every time, but I mean, unfortunately, that's just kind of how it's gone sometimes in the industry. One of the sadder things that's happened.
Yeah. But there's one thing that I can share, but I cannot just share here on the podcast. But whoever wants to reach out later, there's a few things that you can do to make sure you get paid.
Okay.
I just can't disclose in the public space.
Okay. He doesn't want the companies coming after him.
Right. People just know me. But I'm just saying there's ways, and I want to make sure everybody gets paid, but okay. And because it's tough, because people I want to switch, but I have a pipeline, and then people start lacking and they produce less, and then they're sacrificing making money because they're not producing. And now just if I keep producing, my pipeline keeps going up and my money keeps going up. But if I don't produce, and then I'm just like, what am I gonna do? So it's tough.
I know. And the spiral that you get stuck in. So it sucks to be in that position. And then you're thinking about so many things. You're thinking about all the possibilities. So that just gets in your head, and you work less and you're less effective. So that's a terrible state of mind to try and knock doors and close in. Trust me. I've been in that.
And then you lose momentum, which is 2 days ago. I don't know if you saw, I made a post on my stories about that. We had a leadership retreat last week, and then I did a knock for a few days. And it was the very first time that I didn't work on a Saturday for a long time.
Really?
Saturdays are for same days. Saturdays are for solar.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like a few weeks ago, I was doing the Knockstar takeover on their page, and we got 4 deals that Saturday. And then one of the things that I mentioned is just that I was able to sell solar for 11 Saturdays in a row.
Yeah, I
So
remember that.
it's a pro tip. Don't skip Saturdays. Saturdays
Yeah.
are amazing for solar. And
Yeah.
I felt bad because I didn't work, and then I like even yesterday I had to drag myself to the doors. Like I did not want to knock, so I called a friend, and he is like, "Dude, I've been thinking of starting solar, yada yada." He's not in solar, and he lives here in Houston, and I just like, "Dude, let's just hit some doors." And for me, that was the perfect excuse to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
so even myself, years of experience, hundreds, I don't know, thousands of doors, I still feel like not doing sometimes.
Yeah. Same. I know. I always get that. I know even Mike O'Donnell gets that knot in his stomach. He talks about it. And yeah, we all do. So definitely true. Well, yeah, I want to kind of segue into some of the sales stuff on a more positive note now that we've talked about, maybe some of that more negative stuff. I want to hear about some stuff that can help guys out. You've been building teams now. So I know last time we talked, you were focused just very heavy on your personal sales, on, getting those numbers up. You're doing a lot of volume yourself. But you weren't managing a team at the time, right? A year ago?
Yep.
Okay. So now how many guys you got on your team down there in Houston?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's every single team. There's people that produce and people that are not that productive. And the reason why I have to share that is just because the only way for you to know if someone's going to produce is just giving them the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I had people that are just like, you know what? Let's see how this guy would do. And I didn't have a whole lot of expectations, and they just crush it. And I have people like, "Oh, I'll be your number one guy. Don't worry, I got you," and they just don't do much. So it's funny. We keep it like super tight. We don't have a huge team. We have like 14 people.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to keep it like close and tight. That way we can control like a lot better, and then we know that there's alignment when it comes to the culture, the vision, and the future of the team.
Yeah.
Because I felt like my first team in solar was like over 40 people, and I didn't get the attention that I feel like I needed at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's good. And especially for those starting out with teams, a lot easier to control the culture and, work with guys that aren't wasting your time when you can kind of keep it small and close knit, and then just, grow, kind of the right way instead of just throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. Sometimes and be a lot more time wasted. So no, I like hearing that. And yeah, I mean, you're working with Brandon now. He's been on the podcast. So you guys got some studs, throwing up a ton of heavy numbers. I see you guys, slinging deals every day. So yeah, how's it been? So now I know you're still focused a lot on selling yourself, but also now just growing the team. So how have you seen your maybe time or focus change now that you're like also running the team, leading that? What would you say the difference has been versus kind of a year ago when you're more just focused on your personal numbers and all that?
Yeah. So Taylor, I love this question because I feel so many people, they want to grow a team too soon. Like they just like the override, like the growing a team, the commissions, whatever, like that money is not, that is not the money we should be looking for. Like the only reason why someone should be put themselves in a leadership position, because when the teacher is ready, the students will come, right? That's how I opened the ninja school. I don't know if you remember a few months back, I opened the ninja school. We got the ninja squad. We have the same day classes, yada, all of that stuff.
That's sweet.
But I feel like when the teacher is ready, the students will come. And what I'm trying to say is just that just focus on selling. Like I would never, ever, ever try to build a team if you don't even have like 6 figures in your bank account or in investments. I'm not saying you have to have that money just sitting in your bank account,
Yeah.
But if you're not like a six-figure earner, or if you're not having like, if you're not producing at a high level, I just don't feel like you should be running a team, because your team would do 50% maybe of what you do right, and 110% of what you do wrong.
Yeah.
So for the guy that's selling 5 deals a month, there's a 0% chance of this guy recruiting the guy that would do 30 a month.
Right.
And it's just not how it works. Like, it's just the law of the lid, it's just the law of the lid, just a lot of averages and yada yada. We are who we surround ourselves with. And that's why I feel like a lot of people, they just try to lead a team too soon or too early, and then they stop selling. And the reason why I'm saying, like, this is exactly what happened to me, Taylor. When you open an office, you're literally putting thousands and thousands of dollars up front. You're investing in the people. You're investing into Airbnbs. You're helping people with upfront money. You're helping people with everything, like moving, like whatever situation, so you can have your reps ready to rock and roll. And when you're going to see that money, like later down the road, like, it's impossible to put a timeline. So if you're not established financially to assume the risk of leading a team, do what Michael O'Donnell says. I feel like you, myself, like Michael O'Donnell, we're aligned in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The money comes from selling. Stop thinking of anything else.
True.
Like, you will never ever receive a message from me trying to recruit you. Like, no one. Why? Because the money is in selling.
Yeah.
I will never DM you and say, hey, what's up? I might say, hey, good job
buy
on
crypto
the deal.
for me. Yeah.
Congrats. Or like, I might support you. I might be your biggest number one cheerleader or supporter. But I'm not going to say, hey, dude, your company suck. We did that. No.
Well, yeah. And I think that's one of the best ways to recruit organically too, is because, like, I don't know, who are people going to remember if they're ever having issues with their company? They're going to remember the guys who are cheering them on, who were there, like saying, hey, sweet, you're crushing it, bro, on Instagram and all that. So many people don't know how to recruit the right way, and just come across this needy mindset where they're just bugging people on Instagram. And what I really like, what you guys have done, Christian, you've just like had people come to you. You turn the tables and you say, hey, we're bringing on more ninjas. Not everyone qualifies. It's almost, you're doing like the takeaway to get people in, and people love that. And that's why so many guys want to come work with you. So how many do you turn away a lot of people? Like, how do you figure out if someone's a fit for the team if you had to turn down lots of guys that submit applications and stuff?
It's right here. It's right here. I'm still scrolling, as you can see. Like, I can show you on the screen. So since I opened the Ninja School, I literally have like 80 something people applying. Like, every single day, I have 1 or 2 people asking for the link. And a lot of times I say no, and it's okay to say no. So yesterday I made a post and it's asked, what do you guys want me to talk about on the podcast? And I had so many people saying recruiting strategies, how to recruit ballers, blah, 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 blah. So first, how to recruit ballers, become a baller, be a baller, and then you're going to attract ballers. So how to recruit? Just don't. That's it. Don't focus on recruiting. Focus on selling, and your production will make you attractive to the marketplace, and people will see you day in and day out putting in the work. I see you every day there. So that's why I'm saying, like, Taylor, like, people, they're just not dumb these days. I mean, some people, they still believe in the advertising, come do a blitz, make 100K real quick. It's not like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think for us too, we can probably both agree on this, Christian, is just like trying to network with the best, and then also just like posting our wins, on social media. You do a lot more of that than I do. But it's like, I think so many people want to come work with you. They just see you're crushing it on a daily basis. And then also, it's just like if we've been in Knockstar together, we network with a lot of high level people. And it's like, if I have someone that's in Houston that wants to work, who do you think I'm going to send them to? Like Christian's going to be my first guy. I actually did send him someone. It didn't work out as good as we'd hoped. but yeah, same thing with you.
My San Diego people, I got you, Taylor. Taylor's the man for the job.
Thank you. Shout out. But yeah, so no, I think that's been a big thing for us too, is just being able to network and connect with other guys. But yeah, and so you've grown a lot on, speaking of social media. Like, have you had a goal? Was it your goal to grow your social media a ton, or did that just kind of happen? You just kept posting more and more. Do you have any goals with social media, or is it just, it's been something you kind of like to do?
So yeah, I might be starting a podcast myself, and where I want to jam on on the just kind of like storytelling about like some stuff and different topics, not even sales related. I feel like the end result of a sale, it's a transfer of energy, but not only that, it's a transfer of trust. So there's steps where you can do on a house. For example, a few days ago, I posted about how do I run credit in 5 minutes? How do I run credit before even walking into appointments sometimes? It's just that there's processes that comes with the storytelling and finding the right hot buttons and doing the takeaways the right way, doing the pullbacks the right way, and just planting the seed. And that's how you can even like maximize time. Because I see people like, oh, I got 3 deals this week, but 2 failed credit, so I got 1. No, so you got 1 deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, why would you count? Yes, when they fail credit, you're taking the process as far as you can. But that doesn't mean it's not an account. Like that's not a number. So like, don't. I mean, I don't know if your company is counting failed credits, that's on them. No, but I don't think no one should be counting that. Like, it's not a deal. It's not a customer. That person is not going solar. They might be going solar later down the road. You can do a credit repair service. Yes, I get it. Everybody knows about that type of stuff. Yeah. But that's not something like, it's just creating fake expectations, like it's actually getting people to cross the finish line. Yeah. So that's the goal. Like I never wanted to grow social media. I promised in the very beginning to be raw and vulnerable and tell the truth. I did get a few people hitting me up saying, "Hey, you want to buy some followers?" and I didn't know that was a thing. And then I realized that there's a bunch of people doing it. Yeah. And it's not that expensive, Taylor. So if you want like 10K followers, 20, 30K, and I realized that's just, I mean, if people are actually paying attention to that, like I look at, I have over 1,000 views on my stories. And I remember seeing people with 50, 80, 100,000 followers, and they don't have the same engagement from their audience. So for me, it's just a number. Like I didn't have social media for 4 years. That's my story. I did not have social media. I was, I just tried to be the happiest guy in the world. People that knows me and then follow me on a constant basis. They know that every day I say, hey, I said the first episode, I said the same thing. Today is a good day to make it a great day. Yeah. I talk about my mantras. I talk about the self-talk. I talk about the things that I say to prime my day, to put myself in a better state. But it's just the vision that I have. It's just that today is the best day of my life. Yeah. Like today is the best day of my life.
Yeah. Well, you can see it. You're one of the most entertaining guys on social media for me, because like you're always happy. You're always just like jumping around, doing dances and crazy stuff on there. Yeah. So yeah, you keep it real, you keep it raw, and you keep it entertaining. So I think that's how you've grown in, organic, because like you said, a lot of people are just buying followers and not even having people look at their stuff. So
never say never. If I ever buy followers, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, guys, I pay for this shit. Okay. I paid. Okay. I have a bunch of followers and I bought it. It's mine. I pay for it.
Good.
It's
All right.
okay, right? People don't pay. People pay for everything. People pay for surgeries. Now people are paying for surgeries to get taller. It's
Yeah.
crazy what people do. Like in so many things. Like there's, when it comes to the beauty aspect and so many things that you can do, you just pay for it and you get it done. So
Yeah.
people are doing the same thing. Like likes and pictures, they pay for it. Comments on pictures, they pay for it. It's funny how like everything you want can come with money, but the thing is, what for? To show people that don't actually, I mean, people are too focused trying to learn the game and grow themselves and get better. Like, I don't know, like I just don't get this social media thing. I really don't. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I could care less if I have 3 or 4 or 5,000 or 10,000 followers. In the end of the day, like if I'm living each day the happiest life and I'm making an impact, and that's what matters.
Yeah. For sure. Well, we appreciate you keeping it real because I know you've been changing lives, so love it.
Yeah.
And
I
so
can I say one thing.
yeah,
One
go
thing.
ahead. Yeah.
So last week we had like this guy. I don't know how much money he has. Like he has like, I don't know, over 100 million probably. He owns it like equity fund. Like yeah, he's like he owns like, I don't know, 50, 100 million. I have no clue. It's a lot of money. So this guy, I open his social media. He has like 400 followers.
Okay.
And that's the thing, sometimes the young kids, they like, they look at someone and that's what everything that they can see. They base their judgment on followers, which is the most shallow thing that you can think of.
Yeah.
It's literally a couple $1,000 and boom, you have a bunch of followers. And now what? You're a good guy just because of that? No, that's not how it works. So I've seen a lot of billionaires and millionaires, they just don't care for it.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't equal money. Same thing with this podcast. I mean, the more views I get, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm like a rich man off this. So it's like same stuff with social media. That I think guys that put more time into social media than they're putting into like learning sales or trying to get more sales, a big mistake. Because obviously, I know for you that's the main focus is selling. But what I like what you're doing, you're just documenting the journey, which I think is awesome. Just documenting your sales, and we can all see that that's your focus, building your team, closing your deals, but you're keeping it real. You're putting on camera and you're showing your customers, which is something I'm trying to do. And I learn a lot from guys like you and, customer videos and testimonials and all that. So
thank you.
That's awesome.
It's accountability. It's all for accountability. That's it. That's the only thing. Just accountability. For example, I remember when I every single time, if I don't knock for a few days, I get someone say, "Hey, what's up?" Like I'm not joking. I get someone like, "Hey, what's going on? You retired already or what?" And it's funny because like I was like, dude, people just pay attention. People see and then they know what's going on. So that's why like I like the reason why I like the social media environment is just that you guys inspire me so much. You guys like literally, I have people that just like, hey, I see you out there and I want to knock doors. So I feel like if I'm not out there, some woman is like, hey, like what's going on? So like it just pushes me. Like it does bring me accountability because there are times that I don't want to do this job. Like I just it's tough. It's not the most like, I wish I could be playing soccer right now. Right?
Exactly.
Like, I wish I could be doing, I don't know, it could be just playing music, the violin, the piano, the guitar, doing whatever, chilling with friends, dancing. Like I'm all about that type of stuff. But this job can be tough. So I want to talk about that because a lot of people they've been struggling mentally, and I just want to hear from you, Taylor. Like, what are some of the things that you have a lot of experience? I just want to see, like, how do you deal with that type of stuff?
Yeah, turning the mic on me. Love it. That's the Taylor Armstrong podcast now. But no, I mean, I think we both have some experience in this for sure. I mean, I've been in this 6 years. You've been in this. How many years you been in solar now? 7?
It's solar like 2. Going to 2.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Well, we've both been in door to door for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you just got to practice that self care and have your set schedule. And then I learned this from you last time is just like focusing on the people you're talking to. For me, that's been a big key when I am like knocking more heavily myself is just like forget about the hours. I'm just going to go talk to my 10 people today. Or if I have some appointments, I'm going to talk to 6 people today, just figuring out that number and then make it more about that. And then, of course, do like the things you look forward to during the week, do your self care in the morning, the gym, get up and do your morning routine. So yeah, you have to have your times to recharge. You have to have stuff you're looking forward to. I'm training for a half marathon right now. So I've been, that's kind of been my side hobby and just training for that. Got that next Saturday. So yeah, it's just like having other goals, doing other things. And, yeah, obviously I think for both of us, you close a lot more deals than I do. So, I get, I'm focused at times and, don't knock as hard as I need to, but just like focusing on those little things, trying to hit the numbers. I think that's been a big key. And a lot of that stuff I learned from you, but,
Thank you. Thank you, dude.
yeah, but I mean, sure. Yeah. Yeah. What about you? Let's hear from you.
That's my answer. That's it. Like, I just feel like the job needs to be done. Like, no one cares about your feelings. Straight up, like no one cares about my feelings. Oh, I don't feel like knocking. Yes. So I don't pay attention to my feelings because sometimes my feelings are not the best. Like even myself, even when I get a deal, sometimes I get 2 deals on a day and I still get home. I was like, crap, I wanted to do 3.
Yeah.
And I just, for a moment, I forget to be grateful for what I've accomplished, and I try to focus. So if I don't pay attention to my mental and my headspace, my mind will take me to dark places. So one of the things, like, yes, I gotta talk to 30 people no matter what. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're rude to me, if they don't like me, if they treat me bad. I have to. It's my job. It's my duty. I gotta talk to these people.
Yeah.
And then to reset, I talk about that on the first podcast. I just like when I was doing pest control, I just go straight to the next door, have a Sago. If you don't, okay, there's a post about it. Go to just scroll my page. You're going to find it. You can see my post about it. But yeah, there's few things that can help you with that. So the first is just that no matter what, and the little things that you can do, just like the no matter what, I got to talk to this many people. Yeah, it's not optional. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm feeling like or not, it's my duty. I got to get it done.
Yeah. And then I think another thing too, like Mike O'Donnell talks about this, but just like going and training guys, like the time where I know I will always show up, where I can't talk myself out of it, is if I told someone to meet me and they're going to like shadow me or I'm me training someone.
Talking buddy.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shoot, I can't like get out of my car. This guy's literally waiting me. I told him I would train him. And I know that's the big thing for Mike O'Donnell too. So it's just like, I don't know, get someone to come shadow you or pay your.
I had to do it yesterday, Taylor. If I didn't have someone shadow me, I probably wouldn't knock much yesterday, but I did. It was dark and people were kind of skeptical, and we're still going because we got to talk to these people. We have to. We don't have any other option.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's good stuff. Well, Christian, just last couple of things here. I want to talk about like cancels. I know that's something we've all dealt with, but like I think all of us, we have times where we feel like everyone's just canceling. We're signing people up, and it's just killing our momentum. So for you and your team, do you guys have anything that you've done to reduce cancels? And for the times you do have cancels, how do you guys deal with that? And how do you deal with like the mental side of things and help guys stay positive through all that?
Yes. And for me, I do want to touch on that. I love talking about cancels because the more you sell, the more cancels you get. So if you think of Grant Cardone, and like probably his answer was just like, you should be looking for more cancels then, right? But I know it is pretty tough. Like it is hard because some people, they just let it get in their heads, and then I have to deal with it all the time with my reps. Sometimes it's a perfect deal. The closer was in the house. They love solar. They love the closer. They trust the company, and then they talk to the family member that's in Mexico, or I don't know. They talk to someone. There's always something that comes into place, and there's not much what we can do. So it's just, I was gonna say, it's just that understand that is part of the job. There's a few things that you can do, which is like the post, close, like the handwritten card, the send out cards, things that I learned from you, things that we shared in here. You have episodes on that on the podcast. And like, I'm always listening to your stuff. I told you last time, I'm still like your number one listener. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I feel so honored to be like the number 3. You have almost 300 episodes. And for me, it's just like, it's such an honor, because I just try to be real, like with the things, like cancels will happen, guys. And I would say to not just produce more, like if you're selling 4 and you have 2 canceled, I don't know, sell 8. And that means if you have 4 canceled, you still have 4 more. Yeah. And at the same time, try to understand why these people are canceling. So one of the things that I did recently, because I told you guys, I've shared on my Instagram that I had a hat trick on cancels. I had 3 at the same day.
Oh, wow.
And that's not a good day, right? Like, that's not a good day to be in, because I got the cancels, and then like, just think of it. I have appointments at 5 p.m. and then I'm going to get to the house, and then I just got the 3rd cancel. It's just like, dang, I'm already negative 3 deals for the day. How do you get to that house? Like what's in your mind at that moment? So I have a few things that I do that I've learned from like Tony Robbins. It's all about the content that you consume. Like what type of media? Like, we're always driving. We're always constantly going to turf. Yeah. Like, why are you listening to music? I mean, I just want to, the Mindset Mentor, it's an amazing podcast. Rob Dio Jr. I love it. It's my favorite. It's my go-to. There's a few like super old recordings from Earl Nightingale, Tony Robbins, from Jim Rohn. I listen to that type of stuff, like old school stuff. It's not even like, it's not even easy to find. Yeah. I can share with you guys. I have the links on speed dial. There's a few things that I listen to just to help with me, like with the mental game. So for cancels, try to create as much rapport as you can. And one of the things that we start implementing is just processes after the point of sale. After site survey is done, do an additional touch. Go back to the house. You can have, if they have pets, you can bring some dog treats. A lot of people, they like plants, and plants are a great gift because they last forever. Different than flowers, because flowers, they might die in a week or so. But plants, they last longer, and people usually take care of it. So there's a truck. It's a truck in the street. I'm sorry.
I actually can't even really hear it. So
okay, cool.
Must be the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck.
Wow. Yeah, he just honked. Okay. Yeah. So that's it. I was just gonna say, like, just try to customize the experience. Yeah. So they kind of, validate their decision. I would say an extra touch after point of sale is being like game changer, because most closers, once they sell the deal, like their mind's already on the next deal. They like, oh, screw these people. I don't want to talk to these people, because they feel like if I go back to their house, they're gonna cancel. Yeah. Maybe if you don't go back to the house, that's why they're gonna cancel. So adding a few extra steps to the closing process, that's gonna secure the bag. And I realized that when I had the lowest cancel rate, it is when I actually had more contact with my customers.
I love that. Yeah. And I think it's important too. Like for me, I've gone through times where I have a few deals cancel, and then they've been from setters, and then the setter's like, wow, does Taylor suck now? Like all his deals are canceling on me and all that. Yeah. And so I've been guilty of not having enough touches. But what I would say to that, if you're maybe a setter listening to this, if you're setting up the deals, like how, instead of just trying to like automatically blame the closer all the time, like how could you work with the closer? Maybe your closer had 10 more deals to go to that day. So instead of complaining, why don't you be like, hey, is there anything we can do to help, solidify this? I'll be in the neighborhood tomorrow. Do you want me to stop by and just say congrats on the solar and drop off something? It's like stuff like that, like
Yes.
think together, collaborate together. And then,
Yes.
like you said, send out stuff because, sometimes, like, especially for newer setters, you got to understand it's like, yeah, maybe they're obviously closers always trying to improve, but it's not always their fault. And so,
Yes, I do want to touch on that. No
Yeah.
closer will ever get a deal and hope that they cancel the next day. Like,
yeah,
like no one intentionally will go in a house and say, "Hey, I'm gonna screw this deal." And no. So yes, it's important have
Yeah.
the close communication and if the setters can be, because typically the setters are in the area for a lot longer than the closer is.
Right.
So they have a footer on the door already. They can come back and check on these people. And I agree with you on that. That's a really good tip.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Christian, I know I'm actually getting ready to head to a deal here soon myself. And I know you're out in turf and everything. But just as we start wrapping up here, I guess first off, if you didn't hear already the last episode, or in case guys are living under a rock, what's the best way to connect with you or find you on Instagram if guys aren't following you already? You want to give a quick shout out for that?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not, cool. I'm always there. I post crap every single day. And some people like it, some people don't. If you don't like it, I don't care. I'm not gonna be, But yeah, it's just Christian Moroni on Instagram. I have Facebook as well, so Facebook. I usually mainly use to, keep in touch with my people in Brazil, my friends, and
Sweet.
I've been in this. Yeah, like I'm grateful. Like life has changed a lot over the last few years, and last time I talked to you, it was like a little shy of 3 years in this country. Now I'm 4 years and 3 weeks. So I've been here in the States for 4 years and 3 weeks, almost a year, 4 years and a month.
Wow.
Yeah, Christian Moroni on Instagram, and my phone number it's 801-666-9095. You can text, shoot me questions, whatever, and if I have time, I will always get back to you. I might not answer the phone call right away, but I always text you back with whatever you're struggling with.
All right. Well, appreciate that. I mean, very giving. So don't blow up his phone too much. You just put his phone number on here. But no, it's cool to see. And I know that's been a big factor in your success. I think is just having that abundance mindset and always be willing to give to other people, which I know we touched on in the last podcast. And so, yeah, it's been great having you back on and just hear kind of like the evolution of some things. And last question I had before we wrap up here, Christian. So you hit 30 deals in 30 days. Last we talked, you did 15. So what did it take to get to that next level? For guys saying, hey, I want to get to that next level, I've never been able to do it. What did it take?
Love it. I love it. Love it. It's not about the skill. It's a little tweak on the skill set. It's just how you leverage time. What is the attention you give to the hour? I say that every single day. It's not about the hours. It's the attention you give to the hour. Pay attention to what type of people you're sitting down with. Are you trying to sell the guy that has no interest in solar and you still go through a 2-hour presentation? So I feel you, Taylor. I just if I don't feel I can close the deal, I just walk out.
Nice.
So don't give your time to people that are not ready. I said that last time, I look for the low-hanging fruit, but now I just try to be the attention you put. Money you can always get back. So that's why I was just I don't get it why these guys are always posting these failed credits. You shouldn't be having as many failed credits.
Yeah.
You should. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm actually not sorry. Qualify better.
Yeah.
Ask questions. I asked the credit score. He said it was above 650. Okay, so ask, hey, what about car payments? Do you have any missed payments on a car? Okay, do you have any bankruptcy filed? Okay, no. Okay, and straight up, let's say we're role playing. I'm on the door right now. Say, sir, I literally look for reasons to not do it. Okay, I'm gonna look for a few red flags. Do you have any late payments on your mortgage? Okay.
No.
Any late payments on your cars?
Nope.
Okay, any recent late payments?
No, but I did have a bankruptcy.
Okay. Oh, you see, like, and I will ask about the bankruptcy. Now I ask all of these things, so I never ever get a credit fail. Or like, oh, so when was the last time you checked your credit? Like 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay, that's a red flag. What happened that this guy never checked his credit? Maybe is the older guy that has everything together. Okay, you can tell. Or if it's a guy that you kind of feel like, okay, so let's just take a look at it. The thing is just most people don't have the cord. So like that's leveraging time, Taylor. I'm not changing the skill set. I'm just focusing the attention. It's like, can I close this guy? Yes. Okay, I'll do it. Can I close this guy? No, I don't do it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can improve too. It's like from here to a year ago, you've maybe improved 1%, right? But it's like you've leveraged time a little bit better, and you've like picked up a few more like skills in your sales game, and that's probably it. And that's what took you to 30. So I mean, for people, it's that there's no like massive secret or anything. It's just like tweaking one thing here, tweaking another thing there, trying to make a 1% improvement over the course of the year, and then mastering the time, because that's one thing in common. Everyone that has hit big numbers. I mean, we've had this dude named Chance closed over 60 in a month. A guy at my company, Ricardo, I think hit almost 70 deals in a month. But they were just masters of time for that month. Like they didn't step in a house if they thought there was any chance of them basically not doing it or like failing credit. They're not even stepping inside that house. So and they're trying to figure all that, beforehand, obviously, rather than having a surprise in the home. Like, oh, that. And obviously that's the next best thing. If you're in the home, figure that out right away. But yeah, huge secret.
That is a secret.
Yeah, love it. So I think that's a good way to kind of end the podcast. But we appreciate you coming on for a second time, Christian. I hope we can have you on a third time, maybe next year. And
let's go.
Let's do it. And guys, let's get this podcast over 3,000 downloads. We got the last one is at 2,700, I think. Let's get this, post this, share this. And we appreciate coming on the show. And then any last, words of wisdom you want to share with us as we wrap up here, Christian?
No, Taylor, I just want to say time is the most valuable resource. So I want to appreciate every single one to take the time. And maybe we're just been listening to music too much. There's so much good content out there, like your podcast and so many other stuff. So I feel like I do want to attribute, is that a word? Like I want to give my success and say that like one of the main factors, just not stop listening. I'm passionate about music, but I do on my free time, like when I'm on go, like just listen. The content that you listen to, the type of media you consume will dictate the results that you get.
So important. Yeah. Brian, love it.
That's it.
Yeah. Brian Tracy says, turn your car into a university on wheels. So I think that's a good pro tip right there. Well, thanks again, Christian. We appreciate you guys. Share this, shoot Christian some love, and we'll see you next year, Christian. Look forward
to go. Thank you, my brother. I love you.
60 deals. Here we come.
Let's go. I'm ready.
All right.